Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. While we're here, please be sure to subscribe to the Instagram feed, EXFIL Off-Road, and then additionally the new Instagram feed at EXFIL Off-Road Club. So exfil.offroad.club. Anyhow, so on this video we're going to be jumping in doing side steps on the Gladiator. Now these side steps are a lot less complicated than the Rockslide Engineering side steps, whereas you have to loosen up those body bolts. And if you watch that video, you will see that I broke my passenger side front body bolt because I was unaware that they put red Loctite on them in combination with aluminum bolts. So just kind of a really odd setup right there. Ran into it, got it all fixed and put on. But the primary reason for me not going with those at this point is because I'm setting up this Gladiator for overlanding, not rock crawling. I don't expect to need those body bolt mounting positions for additional support, and I'm not really too worried about those side steps slamming into the side of my frame of my vehicle and messing up any kind of body panels or anything like that. So that said, let's jump right in and show you what we got. Alright guys, here's the side steps for our Gladiator. These are rough country side steps. They're basically the exact same thing as the NFAB side steps with a $50 price tag difference. There was free shipping, so no additional cost there. I will say that I believe that the NFAB steps do have an end cover on these, which I believe we should be able to take care of with a large plastic cap. And then on top of that, the only other difference that you're really going to see is it's an RC here instead of an NFAB. But other than that, it's the same exact product with the exact same instructions, in fact. Even their photos are the same, so I'm not sure what's going on with all that. But I will say that it should be very straightforward. You have three main bolts that you're going to go across of each bracket underneath your body of your vehicle. And then you have these mounting positions for these pinch welds. So the primary difference between a tubular step like this and say a Rockslide Engineering like we have on the Wrangler JL is that obviously it's a drop down step, but it also incorporates the body bolts. And when you're loosening those body bolts, you do run the risk on the front body bolt of it breaking because they put reg Loctite on it with an aluminum bolt. It's just not meant to come loose. The Jeep does not want you to loosen those front ones. So that kind of sucks. Now some people are having issues with it breaking off altogether, or the top of the bolt nut, it basically is a bowl, and when they put the impact wrench on it, the tack welds that are holding it in place, like a pseudo nut, basically, and I'm sure it has a fancy name for it, but basically those tack welds break and then the nut just spins on top of there, and you have to cut a hole anyways just to get it to pull that bolt out enough, and then to be able to tighten it again, because otherwise you have no tension. So these do not incorporate body bolts, and I like that because for an overland build, I don't intend for any highlining issues or high center issues with the Gladiator, and I don't suspect that I'm going to have any issues with these things having to support the weight of the vehicle on rocks like that, you know. But again, that could happen, and that's the risk you run. So you're going to have to basically make that decision on if you want to use something that incorporates your body bolts or not. For me, this time, I'm going without incorporating the body bolts. And, you know, to be honest with you, for 400 bucks, it's not a bad price point to start at and get some side steps, especially when you're lifting your vehicle and you don't have to stretch so far to get in. So let's jump in and pop these on. It'll be a quick install, and I'll show you what they look like. Okay, so on this Gladiator, we have rock sliders. They're pretty cool, but again, you know, any issues that you're going to have with these are going to come from these rock sliders actually hitting a rock and then pushing into the side of your body right here, and they will cause marring or actual denting and damage to your paint and actual body itself, because again, they're not using strong enough points by which they're mounted, but hey, they look good, they get the job done for the most part, and it adds a little bit of armor to your vehicle, whereas otherwise you'd have nothing, and it also cleans up this bottom edge. So you're gonna have a couple mounting points on here that are gonna go into these pinch welds, and you're gonna take these bolts off, and then you're gonna take these bottom bolts off. So we'll go ahead and show you that right now. 1, 2, 3, 4 different main bolts in here. Again, the rough country only have 3, so they're using this back one, probably this middle one, and then the front one, and then there's several pinch weld bolts that, again, they just have the nuts on them, so we're gonna have to just pull all these out, and then it'll just slide right off. So to get these off, you're gonna need a 10 millimeter for these pinch weld nuts and a 13 millimeter for these main bolts that go onto these brackets right here, and then all the way down, and this thing will shoot right off. And then just off. And that's it. Your steps are going to come with a bag of nuts and bolts. You're going to have 6 of these black bolts. They're going to go into the pinch welds of your steps and body. They're going to have these little zinc plated washers for them. So 6 and 6, and then 6 of these locking nuts. Then you're going to have 3 zinc plated bolts that are going into the main bracket, and they have a nut on top of them welded in already, so you don't have to worry about any nuts for those. And then each one of these zinc plated bolts is going to have a black washer for them, so you should have 2 full sets, 1 for each side. Let's drop this in. Okay, so what I'm going to do for these is mount up one side of these pinch weld mounting positions on each end. These aren't very heavy, so shouldn't really have any issue with that. So what I'm going to do is do one end and then go to the other end and put it in, and then that way I have it actually close to being in the mounting position. Alright, we're all done. It wasn't really a tough project, obviously, just a bunch of bolts. I did use this great stuff that's black to fill up those gaps that are in the ends of the tube and keep any moisture or anything from getting in there and it rusting out from internally. But other than that, there really wasn't anything special that I did to it. You should be able to do this without issue at your house with just a couple wrenches and be done. It's super quick, and it makes the vehicle look a lot sleeker, I think, and I'm gonna really like the steps being on there just for that little added bit of convenience. So that said, thanks for watching. Drop the comments below. I'll respond as they come, and we'll see you on the next one.